It's Peggy Noe from PrettyPaperCards.com. I'm here with my little Yorkshire Terrier, Ellie, and we are here to make cards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and Ellie is the independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator's dog. And we're just anxious to spend a little time with you today and show you how to make a pretty card. So let me see who's here on our Facebook Live. I'm going to just check my computer and see what friends are joining us today. Let's see. I changed to this new Facebook. Have you tried it? It said the other one is going to be going out, so it's a little different. And so we'll just see how it goes today. And today we're going to do a card we're going to work on a pretty card called Harvest Hellos. That's the stamp set we're going to be using. But first, I wanted to just chat for a minute about how you're doing and what's new with you. Is your weather hot? And how are things going? Hey, Diane, Alabama. Oh, I bet it's hot over there. Is it pretty hot over there? Yeah, Alabama, but you know, we've been having over 50% humidity here in San Diego County, which is unusual for us. So we've had it too. And Ellie's been hot. She's been just laying on the wood floor instead of the carpeting because it's just so hot for her. But I wanted to show you something fun for today. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. So, what's new with me is that I got a TV in my craft room. What do you think about that? I'm going to show it to you. Let's see. I'll go over, well, that's where it is. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this another direction, and there is my TV. Isn't that cool? I just love it. I'm very excited because even though I'm not looking at it, at least I can kind of listen to it during the day. Especially for news and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about my new TV. Hot and humid in Alabama, yay. Yeah, very warm. So anyway, that's my new TV. So when you think of me, you can think of me in here with my spiffy new TV. Now let's talk a little bit about our shares and sharing the Facebook Live. Last week, we had 7 shares. It's the most people ever that have shared on my Facebook Live. I was so thankful. And if you wouldn't mind doing that today, I would be especially thankful. So the gift that I had said for this week, for actually sharing last week's video, was these neat square vellum doilies. And out of the 7 who shared, Tammy Hogue won the doilies. So I want to remind you, if you win, I do happen to know Tammy's address, but if you win, please private message me on Facebook and give me your address, because I really don't have time to go out searching for you, especially if we're not already linked together on Facebook or something. So if you win, private message me with your address, and then I'll know exactly where to send your gift. So for next week, those who share will have a chance to win. They're clear faceted gems. I think they're retired actually, but these are the silver ones. And they're really, really pretty. I really like them. I've used them a lot, and I had an extra package. So if you share this week, you'll get the package of clear faceted gems. And you can share anytime between now and next Friday at noon. Actually, oh my goodness, I forgot. Next Friday, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to have to skip next Friday because we are having a Stampin' Up! Leaders Summit, which is going to be going on from noon all the way through 6 or 7 p.m. And it's Friday and Saturday mostly. And so I'm going to skip next Friday's Facebook Live. I'll be on Wednesday though, so you can catch me on Wednesday, and then on the following Wednesday and the following Friday. So on that 2 weeks from today is when I'll give away the clear faceted gems. So you've got 2 weeks to share. What about that? Pretty good, huh? Okay, I'm gonna put Ellie down and we're gonna start our card. Oh, Good, thank you. Lisa's already shared. Christy, hi Christy, good to see you today. Thanks, nice TV, yes. Okay, so I'm going to show you the card that we're going to make today together. And here it is. It is, look at how pretty this is. This is a red foil apple. And I really want you to see the beautiful color of this foil. This is the new red foil from the mini catalog. It comes in red and green, and you might have actually almost missed it. I wanted to show you the page here. It's on page 22, and it's right up here in the right-hand top corner, red and green foil sheets. And this red, I am just blown away by how beautiful it is. It really, to me, looks more like Lovely Lipstick, which is a color that we retired just in June, at the end of June. But this foil is, I would just say, scrumptious. It's very beautiful. And then we've got, anyway, I'm gonna just get going. So here is the stamp set we're using today. It's Harvest Hellos. Now this stamp set is not from the new mini, it's in the annual catalog, and it's been one of my favorites. Last year I loved it, and I love it again this year. They've carried it over. And the thing I like about it is that it can be either an apple or a pumpkin. Can you see that? It has little seeds, it has a little jack-o'-lantern face, a little piece of apple, the leaves that you need, and some great sentiments. And if you're looking for it in the annual catalog, here it is on page 89. It's just a very versatile set, and it comes, well, I don't think it's not at a bundle price anymore, but the coordinating punch is the Apple Builder Punch. And here it is right down here, and it also makes a stem and an apple leaf. This is page 167. And it's just the cutest fall set. And I wanted to bring this back to your attention because it's just cute. And I want to play with it some more. And I'm going to make a card with some pumpkins, you know, in another few weeks when we get more into September. So let's get started. We start out with our standard Whisper White card base. There's our envelope. Here's our Whisper White card base. 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Now on top of the Whisper White card base, we're going to put a piece of the new Gilded Autumn Designer Series paper. This is another beautiful paper. Every piece of this has either copper or gold foil in it. And this piece is mint macaron and gold foil. Isn't that really pretty? Here's the back. The back sides are not foiled, but it's just so pretty. So we're going to glue this on with our trusty multi-purpose glue, and this is going to be the background to our card today. These gilded foil papers are just absolutely amazing. So we're just going to glue that right on, get it up there where you can see it. And this is one of those cards that when you use beautiful products, you don't need to do an awful lot. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a strip of gold foil right over to the left. And this strip is 4 by 1 inch. And let me get back my glue. Don't need too much, just a tiny bit. And if you use gold foil or any foils, you know, I'm sure you're like me, where you save every little tiny bit of it because it's a little bit pricey. It's more pricey than some of the other papers. And so I save every last bit. So I had to cut this one, but for my first one, I had a scrap, just that perfect size. So I really liked that. Okay, so there's your gold foil piece. And now we're going to add a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I've cut with my trusty and oh so favorite Stitch So Sweetly dies. I love these dies. You know that. They're a classic. If you don't have them, you need to get them. Definitely, because they are really so, I just use them all the time. I really do. These rectangles, the stitched and scalloped rectangles are just, I just love them. So this piece, I'm going to again center right there, right on my gold piece. So it's, let me scooch it up just a little bit. So there's the Whisper White scalloped rectangle. So that's the base of what we're going to use. That's the background to the fabulous red foil apple. And here's our apple builder punch, is what they call it. And you can see the leaf and the stem, and we're going to use those in a few minutes. But we're going to do the apple first, and I've got a piece of red foil that just fits perfectly for the apple. So here we go. We're just going to punch out that red foil apple. And again, it also punches out those other little pieces, but we're not going to use those today. So here is our beautiful red foil apple. Isn't that just gorgeous? So now we need our stem, right? I've got a piece of soft suede cardstock, and and I'm going to just, let me show you about this punch. It's very neat. So here's the leaf portion and here's the stem portion. And you see that line in between? It's very helpful because when you put your paper in, I'm going to slip in this soft suede piece, and really I can just have it come up to that center line. I really like that. And then I can just punch just the stem out. And so here's our little stem right there. Now we're going to punch a leaf, but first what we're going to do is do a little stamping of our leaf, because the set comes with a leaf stamp. And I think it just, you know, we could just punch it out of plain mint macaron cardstock, but I think when we give it a little depth with the pattern of the leaf. So I'm using mint macaron ink here, and I'm just going to get it on this little tiny leaf. It fits on the smallest of our clear blocks, and I'm just going to put it right in there. Just stamp it so it just gives a little, let me put it up there so you can see it, just a little personality, a little definition to the leaf. And now we're going to put the leaf into the punch the same way we did the other one. I have to turn it around, so I'm using my right hand. If you're right-handed, you've got to use your right hand. So you just put the leaf right up in there, inside the little leaf punch area, and there's our little leaf all punched out. So now we've got our two little pieces that go with our card. Okay, so we have our stem and our leaf. Now what I'm going to do is actually attach them to the apple so that they don't go anywhere. And I'm actually going to use some mini glue dots for this. How are you guys doing out there? Are you still hanging in there with our cute little apple? Okay, so here's a mini glue dot, and here's my little leaves, my apple stem. And I'm just going to place it right on a glue dot right there and just press a little bit. And hopefully the glue dot will come right off with it. Okay, and then I'm going to place my glue dot right under the apple. Whoops. Just like that. I think I'll turn it over a little bit and press down to make it sure it really adheres. Okay, there it is. Now, actually, I think what I'm going to do now is put the apple onto, where are my dimensionals? I'm going to go ahead and put it on the card with Stampin' Dimensionals. I think I can use about 3 dimensionals here to make sure the apple is secure. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about our sentiment. For the sample, I used welcome back, kind of like a teacher, students, and I'm going to use that here, but we'll talk about the other sentiments and if we could use those. Here we go with our apple, and I really don't want to press with my hands because I don't like to get fingerprints on my foil. Are you kind of like that? You can get little fingerprints on there. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put my leaf on the apple now that it's sitting on the card. I can see what side I want my leaf on and everything. So I'm going to put it on with another mini glue dot, the same way I did the stem. And let's put it right in there. Isn't that cute? Isn't that just darling? I really love that foil. Okay, now we have our sentiment. So this is the sample that says welcome back. And here are the other choices. We've got, well, hey there pumpkin would be when we use a pumpkin, right? When we use it for a pumpkin. And give thanks probably. Feel better soon, I don't know. But the other one I debated about, and I may end up making one later using this, to an A+ teacher. And I was kind of, and also you make me smile. Thinking nowadays about so many kids being in virtual school, right? They're all in virtual, homeschool, virtual. And so you could actually, if you're teaching your own kids, you could make a fun, more kid-based card that said welcome back for your student with an apple on there, or a little apple slice. There are all kinds of things you could do. Or if maybe you're a grandmother and your kids are being taught by your child, you could send this card and say to an A+ teacher, or to any teacher that you know who's teaching and might be teaching at home or teaching in a school but teaching virtually. So I just thought this was so timely. So we're going to go ahead now and stamp the welcome back sentiment. I've got a strip of mint macaron cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp it with, let me see, I'm going to stamp it with soft suede ink. And here's my little sentiment, welcome back. So let's get that ink on there, and I'll show you how we're going to cut it out. Just going to stamp, oh, it's not very dark, is it? I think my ink pad might be drying out. So let me stamp it all over to make sure I get more ink on there. Okay, hopefully I've got enough now. Press down a little bit harder and leave it a little longer. Well, it's not perfect, but I think it'll do for our purposes today. And then I'm going to punch it out with the classic label punch. If you've been on my Facebook Lives before, you know this is really one of my go-to punches, the classic label punch. And this sentiment fits perfectly inside the punched area. So there we go, welcome back. And we're just going to put this right on the side of the card. We're going to use a few mini dimensionals. And then I have a little special tip for you as soon as I finish this part of the card. Whoops. Okay, so these little dimensionals, I think we can get 3 of the minis on here. What do you think? 1, 2, and 3. I love the mini dimensionals. I'm so glad they came out with them, because we used to actually cut our dimensionals because they wouldn't fit on these little small places. So it's just so great to have these little minis. If you don't have them, definitely get some. Okay, so here's our sentiment, and we're just going to lay it, try to get it even there. Welcome back. There's our card. Not hard at all, is it? We really only stamped twice, and it really, I think it's great. Now, I want to show you a special little tip. Look what I did with the envelope. Have you ever done this and covered the flap of your envelope? Look how pretty it looks with your card. Isn't the recipient of this card going to be just thrilled? And especially with this Gilded Autumn paper, it's so pretty. So I wanted to show you how to do that. And here is one of our standard medium envelopes, and I wanted to show you how I do this. I have the rest of this paper. I cut a piece and I cut out the other envelope flap cover, and all you really need is just a piece that's big enough, and it doesn't have to be cut any particular length or anything. And then what I'm going to do is here I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal Plus. This is the one that's extra adhesive, and I'm going to use it on the outside flap. the area not with the glue. The gummed part of the flap is on the inside. So I'm going to turn over my envelope and I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus here on the envelope. And I might have to, I'm going to tip my head down a bit because I want to get it just right, because you do want to look and try not to get the Stampin' Seal outside of the border of the paper, but right inside. So here we go. Got to get it started first. Okay. Now you can do this with glue. Whoops. There, I'm getting a little bit out. But I'm going to try to make the curve. You can do this with glue. One thing I like about the Stampin' Seal Plus is that it really adheres really well. I'm getting off a little bit there, so I'm going to go back. Oh, I'm not going back too well, am I? You know, I'm usually at a different angle. And now we're going to come, well, goodness sakes, what is happening? Okay, that is off just a bit. There we go. So we're going to come up this side. All right, I'm going to go down from this side. There we go. Now where it's out, where it came, let me show you. There's a little bit outside here. I'm just going to flip it back on itself like that. It's only because I didn't have my head down there to really, I get really close up. And then the most important part is right along here to get your Stampin' Seal Plus right up there as close as you can next to the line. You know, like as close as you can without going over. Okay, so we've got our Stampin' Seal on. And now we just lay our Designer Series paper right against the fold line there. Just like that. And we can trim it afterward, but if you lay it right a little back, a little this direction from the fold line of your envelope flap, press down and it's all adhered. And now all we need to do is go in with our paper snips. And what I sometimes do is I cut just the tiniest bit inside there, not even 1/8 of an inch, just as, you know, some people might call it a skosh. Just a tiny, tiny bit inside of, so you're cutting the envelope flap, just a small bit, and the Designer Series paper. Maybe I'm kind of holding it too close to my face, aren't I? Okay, there we go. Round the corner. And there we are. Look at that beautiful envelope flap. That didn't even take any time at all. And now the person that you're sending this card to is going to get this beautiful envelope. The address on, and you could even stamp something like welcome back on the outside of your envelope. But then when they open the card, it all coordinates beautifully. Isn't that nice? And this paper, I'm telling you, it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous paper. So I hope you liked today's card, and don't forget about those things in the annual catalog, especially this Harvest Hellos with the coordinating apple builder punch. I'm personally going to be using this a lot because you can cut these apples, you punch them, you punch pumpkins. It has a pumpkin stamp, so that what you can do is use the pumpkin pie cardstock and some black or brown ink and stamp the pumpkin and punch him with the apple builder punch, and you can make a whole row of cute little pumpkins. So I'm just thankful that you all came and stopped by today. Now don't forget, when you share, you've got now 2 weeks to share, because I won't be back until 2 weeks from today, because next Friday we're having a special Leaders Summit for Stampin' Up! Leaders. And I'm really excited to go to that. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a lot of great training, and I should come back with lots of ideas for you. And I'm excited. It's a virtual thing, so we sit here and do it virtually, just like you're doing today. We normally would get together, but because of COVID-19 and everything, we're going to be doing it virtually. But they have breakout rooms and all kinds of stuff I don't even know how to do. So we'll see how that goes. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you've really enjoyed the card. And one other thing I meant to tell you is that every month, I think most of you know that I do a class to go, and I usually do it at the end of the month. This month, I'm just a little pokey in getting it out, but I am gonna be getting it out this weekend and advertising it on my blog on Monday, my class to go. It will be a Christmas card. That's all I know so far. I've been super busy with shares, product shares, and things like that. And so I finally have time to create the class to go. So be watching for that. I had someone ask me about it this morning. Are you going to do your monthly class to go? And it's so fun, especially during the quarantine, because you can, or whatever it's called, since we can't really go to classes, you can do it at your home, and I create everything for you. So be watching for that next week, and have a great weekend. I just really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. Bye-bye.